everyone, welcome to another Top 5 Records video and another one in a series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full body of work of Led Zeppelin. And today we have arrived at their sixth studio album, the one released in 1975 and their first and only double LP. Of course, I'm talking about Physical Graffiti. Now, Physical Graffiti got released 2 years after Houses of the Holy. And if you compare that to the two, almost 2 a year vibe that they had in the early days, you wonder why did it took so long for them to complete this album? Well, the answer is basically very simple. Led Zeppelin spent a lot of time touring in those days, and John Paul Jones was really tired of touring. And I believe, was it late 1973 or early 1974, when he talked to the manager of the band and said that it was too much and he was actually thinking about leaving. Now, the manager convinced him to give it a second thought and to just take a year off. That is very interesting because the stories about their manager uh, are rather different from this kind of behavior. I mean, rock and roll was not a day and age in which people just gave each other a year off, especially in those days. It reminds me of this scene in the 2001 film Almost Famous, in which a manager played by Jimmy Kimmel walks into the set and explains to the band members that at this moment their 14-year-old audience will still buy their albums. But what will happen in 2 or 3 years? Will somebody new be cooler, or will they be spending that money on cars and other stuff? So that was the kind of mindset. So that John Paul Jones got a year off, that's actually a very friendly gesture. It created time and it created space for everyone in the band to come up with new ideas. Specifically, and that's interesting, John Bonham was contributing a lot to this album in the studio, coming up with a lot of ideas to alter or make songs work. So the dynamics in the group were changing. John Paul Jones got a lot of new ideas. And it's interesting because Physical Graffiti is the evidence of Led Zeppelin changing. This record became a double LP because while writing and working on songs, they came up with 8 big tracks, long tracks, and they would take about 3 sides of an album, more or less. But they really loved those tracks, so they decided to stick to those 8 tracks and to add a couple of more from earlier sessions for Led Zeppelin 3 and for Houses of the Holy. As a matter of fact, talking about that, the song Houses of the Holy is not on Houses of the Holy, it is on Physical Graffiti. So, what is this album? Is this a unique moment in time where everything got together, or is it a Frankenstein monster with leftovers? Or is it perhaps even both? Well, I'm gonna start track by track. Not all tracks, just spinning through some of them, which really caught my eye. Opening with Custard Pie, and I think it's a nice opener. Um, though it does come at a time in which Led Zeppelin were very well known for having the most powerful openers. This song is good. It goes back to blues roots. It has a nice edge, and I get the sense that Led Zeppelin here is reinventing blues rock once more with a gorgeous harmonica by Robert Plant that really just reminds you where they are coming from or where they're nodding towards. Is it as amazing as well, Immigrant Song or any of the other incredible openers from Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, or 4? No. Is it a good song? Yes, it definitely is. The next song that really caught my eye is the third song, In My Time of Dying, which I thought I've heard that before. Of course, I've played this record before, so obvious. But I recognize it from something else. As a matter of fact, I remembered it from the first Bob Dylan album because Bob Dylan played it on his first solo album. Now, it's not a Bob Dylan composition, it is traditional. And that element of Led Zeppelin working on these traditional songs, but making them completely their own, is just really awesome. It goes to that blues roots element of the band, and just as the opening track, they do deliver. It is their own, and you hear the identity of Led Zeppelin. Let's go to side two, Houses of the Holy. Always confusing when the title track of actually a different album appears on a later album. Same thing has been done with Queen's Sheer Heart Attack or Waiting for the Sun by The Doors. Um, why did they leave it off Houses of the Holy? I mean, they did name the album after it. It was very similar to Better Days in their opinion, and I understand that somewhat. And they decided that Better Days was a better song. I kind of, I kind of agree. Nevertheless, it's a good song, solid enough. Then we go to the fifth song, Trampled Underfoot. It has a funkier sound, funky element. I like the way Jimmy Page sounds and plays something different. You know, the guitar walks more through the song. Like it. It's a really okay song. Really, really okay. Very okay. Then we get to number six, Kashmir. And from two okay songs to one of the most epic songs the in one of the most epic songs of the 70s. I mean, the way that song builds. Do-do-doo, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, let the sun go down upon my face. I just, everything just balances out so brilliantly. It has such an epic quality, and this is, I mean, this is a very very good album. But this is the first time on this album that Led Zeppelin really truly blows me away. Such a powerful, epic anthem. I love every second of it. Then going to side three, opening with In the Light. And I love this. This song is has a much more progressive rock nature than any other of the Led Zeppelin songs on here. And I love it when they experiment with that. After the gorgeous In the Light, we go to Bonham, of course, inspired on the place where a lot of the writing by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant was done in Wales. It's an instrumental piece, acoustic, great, great track to put in there after this epic In the Light, after this epic Kashmir. Then we go to Down by the Seaside, a Neil Young inspired track. Um, Obviously Neil Young inspired. I'm thinking On the Beach, anyone? Lovely song though, very nice. Then we get to the tenth song of this album, 10 Years Gone. It has a This is a very nice low speed, fragile even ballad. Honestly, this side three, is for me the heart of this album, with Kashmir side two, because you hear Led Zeppelin experimenting, showing their possibilities and their strength in different genres. Kind of reminds me a bit of the Beatles' White Album in that sense. I really, really feel a lot for this side three. And side four, which is also good. The Night Flight, okay song. The Wanton song, nothing really special, but okay. There are no bad songs. Boogie with Stu, which is his jam session with Ian Stewart, who was the session piano player for the Rolling Stones. Nice song. It is a nice roll. It has a nice vibe. Then we go to Black Country Woman. I love the groove in Robert Plant's voice, and we end up with Sick Again, which is again an okay song. Now, as a whole, it is a very interesting Led Zeppelin experience, and there are incredible, gorgeous highlights. There are no true lows. It's not as consistent as any of 1 to 4, but is it an important epic record? Yes. Does this stand out among the big, great albums of the 70s? Yes. There's so much brilliance going on here. So I'm curious, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.